Hey, 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 hey. Let me cut my phone off before it start ringing. Hey, y'all. Hey. So, I know today is not Wednesday, but I missed Wednesday yesterday because I had something to do. So, I wanted to make sure that I try to stick with my schedule of coming live every week with my tax topic. And today I'm going to be really, really short. I'm not going to be long at all because I just want to pretty much talk about when you should be expecting your refunds if you your return was fell in the category of being held because of the PATH Act. So, for my people who have already filed their taxes and you had the earned income tax credit or the additional child tax credit, you know that your return had been on hold because of the PATH Act. Well, today is the February the 15th, and the rule, the law, the PATH Act is being lifted today for those people with those returns. I think a lot of people be under the assumption that on February the 15th that they will actually get their tax refund, and that's not the case. A lot of times people think they're going to actually get their dates when they're going to get their tax refund on the 15th, and that's not the case. So I just kind of wanted to talk to you all about what the next week or two is going to look like for you all when it comes to your refunds. So again, the PATH Act was lifted or is going to be lifted today. You should start to see dates for people who have, again, under the PATH Act on tomorrow possibly or Saturday. So dates should start showing up on Where's My Refund on tomorrow or Saturday. Now, I know that you're going to have people watching this video and you're going to be like, oh, I already had a date or I already got my money. And so this video is really not for you. It's for people who return was held up because of the PATH Act. Now, the IRS website has cited that people will not start receiving refunds until February the 27th in reference to your returns being processed. But some refund banks, which we call them tax company banks, a lot of them released yesterday that people affected by the PATH Act will start receiving deposits on February 22nd. So I do believe that it will be next week around that time. Again, the banks have already said it. Usually when they say it usually will happen. I said it anyway because the IRS, they have history of always saying somewhere between the 26th to the 28th they'll release the money, and they usually release the money the week prior to that week, which usually be between the 21st and the 24th. Just depends on what day it falls on. But for the most part, a lot of people will start receiving their refunds on next week. And you should start seeing dates if you have not had a date between tomorrow and Saturday. I can't really remember what date they really come out. I don't know if they usually come out the next day or if they come out on Saturdays, because I know dates used to come out on Saturdays a lot of times. But it could come out tomorrow or on Saturday. So for those who do not get a date but you've already filed, do not jump to the conclusion that something is wrong with your return just right off the bat. So your processing actually starts today. Okay, so the IRS have 8 to 21 days from today to release your refund. So just because you do not have a date this weekend for when your refund is going to be deposited, it does not again mean something is wrong with your return. It just means that you have not came up yet. Now, you also need to be aware that just because you filed in January do not mean that you're going to automatically get a date first. That's not how the IRS works. History has showed that a lot of people might have filed in January, but they get their dates after the people that filed last week. So we don't really know who's going to get their money next week or not. That's the IRS determines that. But again, just because you don't get a date does not necessarily mean something is wrong with your return. Now, next week, I'm going to go into details on different things that, your return can get flagged for. I did a small video, a rear in reference to talking to that on last week, but I'll go into more detail on next week. But again, the IRS has 8 to 21 days from today to process your return. A lot of you will be like, okay, you've already filed. It's already been over 30 days, because they're going to tell you, you got to give them at least 21 days. But they're not going by when you filed prior to the 15th. If you fall in that category, they're going by today. So I've seen where people might not get their date for this week. Good morning. Good morning. I see a lot of people who might not get their date for the first batch, but then they get dropped in the second batch. We call them batches. I don't know what they came up there for, but in the first batch. But the big drop, the really, really big drop, the mass amount of refunds is going to go out will probably be next week. So checking your where's my refund every day is not going to change anything. So just check it tomorrow or Saturday. After that date, check it a couple of days after that, because it's not going to update on Sunday to a date. So if you don't get a date tomorrow or Saturday, then you possibly not going to get a date for next week. But again, that does not necessarily mean something is wrong with your return. So I just wanted to come to y'all. I didn't want to stay real long today, but I really, good morning, Cynthia. I really wanted to kind of give y'all some insight on what you can expect. I know a lot of you all are looking at your transcripts, trying to figure out when you're going to get your money. Yes, transcripts do update or whatever, and you can possibly find out when you are expecting a deposit. But at the end of the day, that might not update as well. You also need to know too that the IRS website be acting up all the time. Like, you might go on there one day and you got some information, and then you go on there the next day and you just fully wiped out. In those cases, if you send your information on the IRS website one day and then you go back the next day and you don't see anything, that means that the IRS system is having some glitches in it that day. It don't necessarily mean that something is actually wrong with your return. Now, what we are seeing is a lot of people are having to do ID verification this year. So if you have to do ID verification, make sure you're looking out in the mail for a letter from them. They do tell you to click on something, and then it take you to ID Me, and then you sign in, and then it tells you put in your letter number, but you can't do anything if you don't have your letter number. I have had clients that did that, and now their thing is now saying like something about them processing, so they possibly might not have to do anything else. I'm thinking if you do ID Me, sign in through ID Me, and they verify that might be a sense of verification for this year, or you might still get a letter. So I don't really know, but they are doing a lot of ID verification, and states are too. So you might get a letter from the states as well, trying to do ID verification. For those who do not know what ID verification is, it's where the IRS asks you to verify your identity to make sure you are the person that filed that particular tax return for this year. And it doesn't matter if you've never been selected for ID verification before. You can get selected for ID verification at any time. It doesn't mean that someone's trying to steal your identity. In most cases, it just means that you need to verify your identity. And I just suggest, if you are, I got your taxes done with a tax pro, to make sure that, you get with the tax pro to make sure that you're doing the ID verification correct, that you're giving them the correct information, so that your refund do not get held longer than it needs to be. Good morning, Crystal. Good morning, Christina. So, Christina, what about the states? So, the states are different. Okay. So, when it comes to state refunds, I think with Georgia have like 90 days to release your refund. I don't think people really know that. They have up to 90 days to release your refund. And not only that, a lot of times I'm talking about Georgia, they will hold your refund until you call them and verify yourself, and they might not even send you a letter. The other thing about state tax refunds is if you get your taxes done with a tax pro and you get your fees taken out of your refund, sometimes your state refund come first. And whatever hits first, that money, if you owe some money to somebody, meaning you owe money for your tax prep fee, or in a lot of cases you got a cash advance, your state refund is going to be applied to that debt first. And when you get the deposit for your federal, it probably is going to be more than you was quoted after fees. And that's because you have a combination of your federal and your state in one deposit. That happens very often. Clients are confused about that. Sometimes you get them separate, because I know if my clients, their state refund is under a certain dollar amount, I don't select for them to go through the bank. But if yours is over a certain dollar amount, I select it to go under the bank, so that if you got a debt or something, I can make sure I'm going to get paid. But with so many of y'all doing cash advances, we won't get paid till you get your federal anyway, because your money is going to be applied, your state is going to be applied to your cash advance first. So a lot of people think they don't get their state, but you really do get your state. It just being one deposit. And the only how you're really going to know if that's the case is really if you contact your tax pro. For real. And then if you go on the bank's website and when you look up your information, they might tell you the dates the money was deposited. But a lot of times y'all be thinking we stealing y'all money, and we're not. Because the state, if the state come first, which a lot of times it does, again, it goes to whatever you owe. So if you owe prep fees, if you owe a cash advance, it's going to be applied to that. So for everybody who's just tuning in, I just pretty much broke down when you should expect your refund. The IRS website, if you was under the PATH Act. If the IRS website has been telling us, and that's what we've been promoting, that it will be the 27th. But we did get a lot of word from the banks on yesterday saying that the 22nd will be the date of the deposits. Don't necessarily quote me on that. I'm almost sure it is, but I don't want to give y'all no information that don't happen. You be mad. But I want to give you the information that I know. So 9 times out of 10, it will probably be next week in reference to your refunds and deposit for those people. Again, it's not no particular order. You might not get a date. And if you don't get a date, you got to understand that they have 8 to 21 days to give you one. So you might not get one this week. You might get one for the next week. But just, continue to check, where's my refund. I don't really recommend you checking it every day, because that's not how the IRS system works. But just check it every few days to see if they have updated. Good morning, Michelle. Good morning, Tiffany. If they have updated. And that's all, y'all. I will come when I do tax talk next week. I should do it on Wednesday. When I do tax talk next week, I'll talk about the reasons why your refund might be held and the things that you need to do to get it expedited faster. Probably. Well, I can't really tell you what you should be doing to be prepared for, because IRS be on their own time. Nobody got control over them but them. So if you're just tuning in, I stopped introducing myself. I am Gwinnetta Wright, otherwise known as Gwen. You need to, if you're watching the replay, if you in here now, drop where you from, drop your business if you have a business. Drop it in the comments, because y'all know we be networking in the comments. I've been watching these comments. I can't watch them that much because I be doing tax returns pretty much all day. But when I be coming to comment, y'all just be arguing these comments. Some of y'all be calling me a liar, and it just be too much. I don't know. But for those who need the information, we'll try our best to get the information to you all. But people do be in the comments. So if you are a business owner, make sure you drop your make sure you drop your links to your website, your page, whatever, to promote yourself, because they really be in these comments. They looking at word from word, for real, for real. Okay, thank you, Michelle. If you feel the file, let me see. I'm sorry, I'm trying to read it. Okay, if you feel okay, you filed around the 12th. Could that lead to late refund? I'm in Georgia. If you filed the 12th, that means you just filing, so your refund can be processed in 8 to 21 days. It just depends on the IRS when that can take place. I have seen refunds come back in 3 days. Those refunds go right through the system. And that don't mean that you're gonna get a late refund. You just filed, so the chances of you getting your refund in the first drop is not that high of a probability, but I can't say it's not, because again, some refunds do process in 8 to 21 days, and if from the 12th to the 22nd, that is around that time, so you could have a date around the 22nd, but it's not necessarily considered late, having a late refund, because a lot of people haven't even filed yet. Tamika, oh, you saying in January? Oh, my bad. In January. Okay, so yes. So if you filed in January, that means that now, and you haven't got a date, that means that you are under the Payout Act. Okay, so 9 times out of 10, well, I don't say that. I can't just say that. That's not necessarily true. But more than likely, you're under the Payout Act. That means you had EITC. That means you had additional child tax credit, so you probably will start to be processed today. Okay, and they don't necessarily mean and that is considered a late refund, but it's really not, because they just holding. They do that every year now, so you could possibly be in the first batch. Somebody asked me about a code. Let me tell y'all about those codes, baby. All right, I don't memorize codes. I got a sheet. You know what I'm saying? I got a sheet. I have a sheet that I have the codes on. Some of them I know off bat, some of them I don't. I'm not a transcript girl. I don't know when y'all start going to y'all transcript and try to dissect it line from line. I don't know. I think this has been going on for like maybe the last 2-3 years or whatever. So I'm not a transcript girl. I don't try to dissect it. I don't even have time to be looking at transcripts like that. I just feel like the information is there if you want it, but I think that when y'all be looking at these transcripts, it be confusing y'all, because y'all trying to figure out line for line, like what's going on, and then a lot of times you don't really understand what the transcript is saying, and so now you feeling a certain way because you think somebody stole your money. You think your money being held up. You think somebody did something wrong to your tax return. So I don't just push my clients to no transcript. If they want to go look at it, that's their business. And I don't be trying to dissect the transcript and tell you everything or every step of a transcript. So I can't really answer that, Tamika. I'm sorry. I'm not a transcript girl. I know how to read one, though, but I'm not a transcript girl. I think that's so confusing for you all to go to the transcript. I know a lot of people be pushing y'all to the transcript, but it's so confusing for y'all to go to the transcript because y'all don't know how to read it. And then y'all be looking at numbers, and then I could give an example of somebody thought I had thought their refund was different or something because the EIC amount said a higher amount, and they really got that amount for EIC for real, but the thing about it is it's a calculation. They were self-employed, so their self-employment taxes had to come off, so they didn't really realize that. So then you have these phone calls where now you mad because you think somebody stole your money and we didn't steal your money. And if 810 is a refund freeze, it could be a refund freeze because they haven't lifted the Payout Act. It might not be a refund freeze in reference to the fact that your refund can't be processed. But again, I'm not a transcript girl. Some tax pros love to try to dissect the transcripts. I'm not trying to do that for real. I ain't trying to do that. But anyway, if you need your taxes done, you haven't got your taxes done, Xpert Tax Services always taking new clients. We take clients out of state through our virtual tax prep services. And we have 2 locations. We have a location in Columbus, Georgia. When I talk too long, my throat. We have a location in Columbus, Georgia, and we have a location in Stone Mountain, Georgia, which is the outskirts of Atlanta, Georgia. So if you would like to come see me or one of my tax preparers, you can schedule an appointment by emailing us. All this information is on our page. If you would like to submit your information to us, you can at www.xperttaxservices.com. Our turnaround is not that long. We try to at least contact you within 24 hours. We try to have you done if you have all your paperwork to us. When you submit your information, we like to have you done within 24, 48 hours. Now, some people take long because you ain't got all your paperwork, but we do try to have a quick turnaround. So, if you need your taxes done, definitely hit us up. We are taking new clients. And for our clients that we have not seen yet, we can't wait to see you all. If you know anybody that needs to listen to this video, make sure you share it out. Make sure you tag people. And y'all don't be arguing in my comments. Don't be arguing in the comments, okay? I mean, if you call me a liar on my post, I'm just going to block you because y'all been making me mad. I know I don't supposed to be care, but y'all been making me mad. I'm like, I'm around here trying to tell the truth. And they be around here calling me a liar. It makes me mad. But anyway, I'll see y'all next week. Bye.